welcome to today's Q&A session. Today is all about traveling outside of China. So we're going to talk about a few destinations that we've been to, either both of us or just one of us, and then we'll also go into some questions. So please feel free to send us comments and questions that you have, and we'll happily answer those at the end. Okay, so let's kind of get started. So I'm Jenny. I've been in China for just over 3 years now. Originally came as a kids and teens teacher with EF, and now I'm here in Shanghai headquarters recruiting teachers from all over the world. So yeah, we've got a lot of experience in terms of traveling in and around Asia. So yeah, this is...
I'm Lindy. I've been in China for just over 2 years. So I spent my first year in Nanjing, where I taught, and then I was very grateful to be able to join the recruitment team here in Shanghai this past year.
Fantastic. Okay, so let's get started. So I always feel like one destination people think about when they think of Asia is definitely, obviously China, but Japan. So that's definitely a place that I was very keen on going to. I actually have only been to Tokyo, but I do intend to go back to Osaka and Kyoto. But yeah, have you been to Japan as well? Yeah,
I've been to Tokyo twice actually. So I took 2 different trips, one my first year and one just recently. So both to Tokyo. It's such a large city. There's so much there to explore. I think one of my favorite parts was the food.
Yes,
I don't know about you.
Definitely.
So sushi and ramen. There was like the coolest ramen place.
Such good, yeah. And especially like all the noodles, like that's what surprised me. I knew the sushi would be great, and it was. But just kind of like the udon noodles, the ramen, it's just so much better than anywhere you'd ever have in the world, obviously, because it comes from there. And all the little cool places you can get it. There's quite a famous ramen place. I forget the name. Could you remember?
I don't either, but it's like a
you could
box.
Definitely find it, because there's a few locations, and you sit down and you're in an individual booth, and you order by a vending machine, and then you get a little token, and then literally this little kind of screen goes up, and then some hands come out and they put ramen in front of you, and then you just eat the ramen kind of like the locals. So that was definitely an experience. But in terms of kind of the destinations, tourist destinations, obviously there is the Skytree. I didn't go to that. I didn't actually go up.
I did go up to Skytree. It was really neat. It's really beautiful. It looks a bit like the Eiffel Tower, Eiffel Tower. So that's neat. It lights up at night, so you can walk around. I did do that. We also went to Disney Sea.
Obviously, you got to go to Disney Sea.
It is a little bit different than the rest of the Disney parks, so if you're a Disney person, so definitely an experience to check out as well.
Yeah, definitely an experience, but the queues were definitely the longest I've ever seen in a Disney park, I will say that. Yeah, and obviously there is lots of kind of cultural things to see as well. There's the little old-fashioned geisha towns where you can still go. I went around on a little rickshaw, me and my friends, being pulled along by this little guy. So that was great. And then, there's just so many different things and sights to see. Definitely some tips, though. I would say that there is a quite complicated metro system, especially compared to Shanghai and the rest of China. Theirs is very straightforward. Whereas there you have to buy individual tickets for each place that you go. So it's always best to actually do a little bit of research before you go, and you'll find out that you can actually buy a card that can get you on all of the rails. So if you get that in advance, that's great, and it's actually cheaper. Whereas if you go and just pay per time, it can really add up. And as I say, it kind of it's a maze of networks, and they're all individual, so you have to pay per ticket, per kind of gate that you go through. So have a look into that.
Yeah, and with that, also just save up a bit for Tokyo. It is a bit expensive. Definitely worth the visit, but one of those trips that you will want to research a bit about the metros and save up a bit before you head over.
Yeah, definitely, And in the time of years as well, there's obviously the cherry blossom season. It is more expensive during that time, because obviously everyone wants to go and see the cherry blossom, and I went just before that, and there was still things blooming, and some of the trees were in blossom, so I kind of got that to see that, but then I didn't pay the price tag for it quite as much. So definitely do a little bit of research into what time of year to go, because it definitely is expensive, especially compared to China. We get used to being, very lavish in our life here in China, because it is a lot cheaper. And so when you go to Japan, it is a kind of this is definitely more expensive. So save up a little bit there. Yeah, and then another location I think that we've both been to, kind of a more beach type holiday rather than the city type of holiday is Bali, so Indonesia. Where did you stay in Bali?
So I did a few different places. So we've stayed on Gili T, an island, which is very beachy. You stayed in Gili Island as well, right?
Yeah, I stayed in Gili Air, which is one of the smaller ones. Yeah, it was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, and I think on both these islands you can walk completely around the island. We took a bike one day, biked around. There's a secluded area on one side, so you can do the beach. There's swings in the water, all those picturesque moments.
All the Instagram moments.
Yeah, exactly. As well as then a lot going on the other side, so there's hostels and different things. So it's definitely a little bit of both worlds on the island. Yeah,
definitely, and especially if you wanted somewhere very remote and kind of, like you say, exclusive. The smaller islands are even more so. So you can walk around the whole island on the beach in an hour. So it really is small. There's no cars. There's no kind of scooters. There's nothing like that. So it is very much just you wake up, you sit on the beach, you go snorkeling, and then repeat that all over again. And that's really what I did when I was there for about 4 days. From Bali, I did go to Ubud beforehand. And Ubud is a great location to go in Bali. It's kind of the jungle side of the island. So it's not near the beach. But that was okay because then we went to the island to kind of have that beach holiday. But yeah, there's lots of things to do there. There's an elephant reserve. There's the monkeys. The monkey
I had a monkey sit on my shoulder, which was great. He played with my hair. It was a lot of fun.
That's great. That's so good. Did you go to the elephants as well?
I didn't go to the elephants, not there in Ubud, but we did do rice terraces. We did a walk, jumped in waterfalls. So more of that jungly adventure side of you if you want that in Bali. I think the one thing to note in between Ubud and the islands is definitely to take a look at the ferries. So you do have to take a boat over into the islands, but as long as you do a bit of research before, it's not too bad.
Yeah, that was actually something that I definitely under-anticipated because I was like, there'll be ferries every hour or so, but actually there's a schedule throughout the day. And when I got to the Airbnb that I stayed in Bali and Ubud, he was like, okay, so how are you going to get there? And I was like, I don't know. So he helped me. He was really, really helpful. That is definitely something to say. If you are going to a hostel, hotel, Airbnb, the hosts there are always so good, so use that resource. They'll happily book trips, they'll happily book tours. And actually the owner of that Airbnb took us round for the day into Ubud, like you say, to the rice terrace, the waterfalls. And then again, he booked our ticket for us, which was fantastic for that ferry. And as I say, we didn't understand that we had to look in advance. So please do that, because we had to then kind of go the day before back to the island to catch our plane back. So just be aware of that.
Definitely.
Okay, so what other places kind of would you say is your favourites?
Well, I also did a trip to Cambodia and Vietnam, so I think those are on my list as well. And I know you've been to Cambodia.
I have. I've been to Cambodia, not gone to Vietnam, so you can give me some tips because I'm going to go next year and join Chinese New Year, so yeah.
Yeah, well, I think Cambodia is a good couple of days. So we did Siem Reap, which I think you did as well. Angkor Wat?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So Angkor Wat's kind of this massive area with kind of sacred land and different temples, and it really is really big. You could spend potentially 2 days just going around the different temples, and that's actually what we did. We got the 3-day pass and we spent 2 days there. One of them is from Tomb Raider, so you can go and see the Tomb Raider tomb. That was cool. I went and saw that, and then obviously Angkor Wat, which is the big one that you'll have seen kind of when you research Cambodia. And it's beautiful. I know it's famous for its sunrise, which I'm not an early riser, so I didn't do it, but I think you did it, right?
Yeah, I did actually wake up for the sunrise, and I'm not an early riser either. But it was definitely worth it, so something to check out for sure if you're there just for a few days. And like I said, it's an easy trip over to Vietnam then, or Thailand is right there. So we went over to Vietnam, and I definitely have some recommendations for you that you're heading there. We went to Hanoi, so very the city life of Vietnam for sure. A bit hectic, so it's a lot of motorbikes and people just everywhere, but it's really exciting to kind of see that environment and all the different cultures there in Hanoi, with the landscapes and the food. There's just so much, so many different things that you can see and eat.
Yeah, it definitely looks amazing. Kind of to Da Nang and things, and I know you went to Ha Long Bay as well.
Ha Long Bay. So if you're looking for like the beachy side of Vietnam as well, you can go down there. We were on our own private beach. So like the Avatar Mountains that come out of the water, it was really, really beautiful. We were there for a few days, just no Wi-Fi, no anything. It was great.
Well, you can get it if you need it, because I like my Wi-Fi. That's great. Okay, yeah, okay. And I think that's another thing you were just mentioning in terms of that beach and the city. That for me, I like to kind of have kind of the best of both. So when I look into a country, I think, okay, where's their best city, or where's the city that most interests me? And then I look at kind of the beachy location as well, and maybe split the trip into two halves, just so you can get to experience more during your holiday time. So that's another kind of tip I would suppose, yeah.
Yeah, and I think you can do that in a lot of the Southeast Asian countries.
Yeah.
Definitely, like you said, in Vietnam, it's like the beach and city. In Thailand, you can do that as well. You have Bangkok or Chiang Mai. So
Exactly,
there's a lot of different options.
Yeah, definitely. And I actually recently went to South Korea, and I only went for 4 days, so I only went to Seoul. But I know a lot of my friends would do maybe an extended trip and go to Seoul and then split it by the coast as well. Because they have also beautiful coastlines, a bit more rockier and kind of rugged, but still beautiful. Okay, so we'd really like to kind of open it up for questions now. So please feel free, again, to drop those comments, sections, just put anything that you need to kind of ask us about our trips and travels and tips and anything you want to know further about.
Okay, would you say it is safe to travel by yourself?
That's a good question. So obviously with any travel, you do need to be safe, you need to research where you're going. So it really is kind of dependent on you and whether you are someone who likes to travel by yourself. Just do your research with anything, and obviously have your wits about you like anywhere in the world. Research that area, find out different groups potentially that you might want to go backpacking with or something like that. So yeah, just do a bit more research and just have your wits about you, I would say.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, there's groups, so when you go to hostels or go to different things, you can kind of join up with them and travel, as a lot of people like to join and travel throughout the different countries together.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I understand Chinese New Year and the National Week are quite busy travel weeks. Is it recommended to have a staycation during those times, or should you try and travel in those breaks?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a few kind of answers to that. So I'm sorry, but I'll kind of give you both sides. So I've done both. So I've actually had some staycations here in Shanghai during Golden Week, and it's actually really nice because, as I say, China's very affordable compared to other countries. So I stayed in Shanghai. It's very quiet because obviously a lot of people go back to their hometowns, so it was really nice to kind of enjoy the city whilst it's quiet. And then I checked into a very nice hotel with a great view of the Bund, and as I say, it was so affordable compared to, let's say, the UK where I'm from, or the US. It's so much more affordable, those expensive hotels. So I did that one time, and then obviously I would say to travel during those time on the whole, because you are off, so why not use those days off to explore and travel? And yes, if you're organized enough and you kind of book in advance, you'll be able to get some affordable flights. If you do leave it to the last minute, it is a little pricey, but if you have that expectation, then that's not too bad.
Okay, is it recommended to plan your itinerary when traveling abroad, or can you just wing it?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I definitely think it depends on the person. You definitely should have some sort of plan, though. So go, like we said before, research the metro systems, do a bit of saving before, because depending on the city, it can be a little bit pricier. So doing your research before is great. You can always rely on different people there as well. So we said those customer service at the hotels or the Airbnbs, the hostels, they can be very helpful. And I, for one, like to plan a bit and then see what the city has to offer once I get there. But definitely doing a bit of planning before is always smart and recommended.
Yeah, exactly. Like you say, just those kind of essential things to look up before you go, and then you can kind of think, okay, there's these few places I want to see, and then kind of go with the flow if you're that type of person. But yes, research, because we said about the Metro card for Japan. Another thing that kind of just popped into my head was the visas. So obviously there is some countries that you'll need visas for before you arrive or when you actually land. So Cambodia, you have one when you land, which we didn't expect. So it took an extra couple of hours to kind of get out of that airport. So Vietnam, bear that in mind. Oh, right, yes, for Americans as well. You need one for Vietnam,
Okay, and what websites do you use to book your accommodation or your flights? Do you use apps or websites?
I use trip.com or Ctrip most of the time. I think I often will also look at Skyscanner Airbnb for accommodation, but definitely here in China, I think Ctrip is one of the most common. It's very easy. You can look up flights, hotels, trains within China, so it's great. You can do it all on one app.
Yeah, it's a really great website, and also it uses WeChat and Alipay, which is great. So you can kind of, it's connected to your bank account, your Chinese bank account, which is really kind of useful. So I mainly use that. Yeah.
Okay, and which Chinese airlines are the best to travel with?
Okay, well, I feel like, with any airline, there are some good ones. So there's Air China, there's China Eastern, Air Asia. Actually,
China Southern.
Yeah, China Southern. So there are a few different airlines here. To be honest, I've all had good experiences with them personally, so I wouldn't necessarily say one's better than the other. I just more look on Skyscanner and see which is the kind of best deal.
Yeah, exactly. I would definitely look just for the price and time, depending on the time of year,
what
you're looking for, time of day, after work or early in the morning, things like that is kind of more the focus. But definitely, I think all the airlines have been very satisfactory. So
I would say so, yeah.
Okay, when traveling to a country with a different currency, would you recommend to exchange your money before or after you arrive? And where?
That's a good one. Okay, so I always do it beforehand, just because obviously you need that security when you first land to have their currency. It's also usually a better exchange rate. So, obviously,
with all that cash, you can get some out there in the currency as well.
Yeah, it's definitely worth noting. Check what kind of card you have. Do they take that? Yeah.
Okay, and how affordable is it to travel around Southeast Asia from China?
I'd say very affordable, It's really, you get some really good deals. Obviously, most places are within 6 hours. Japan is 2 hours, South Korea is 1 hour, I think just over 1 hour. Obviously, depending where in China you are. I'm coming from Shanghai. Obviously, it's a big country, so bear that in mind as well. And then the Southeast Asian countries like Singapore and Indonesia, Malaysia, all of Thailand as well. Yeah, Thailand. They're maybe 5-6 hours. So it's really quick, so therefore affordable. So it's obviously a lot better kind of traveling 12 hours away. That's obviously going to be more expensive. So it's super cheap actually.
And like we've said, we've been to all these countries in the last year or two that we've been here, so you can tell it is quite affordable. The fact that we can do all these different adventures within our year here.
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
And are a lot of the Southeast Asian countries similar, or are they quite different and worth exploring?
I would definitely say they're worth exploring. Like we just said, there are similarities throughout the Asian countries, of course. But as with anything, I know we were talking about Europe the other day. You wouldn't go to Italy to see something that's in France, the Eiffel Tower. So
exactly,
definitely each country is worth exploring.
Yeah, definitely. Like you say, France is very different to Italy or anywhere else in Europe, and it's the same for Southeast Asia. There's specific things that you can see in each country, so definitely explore all of them if you can.
Okay, and for our teachers out there, how far in advance do you have to apply for leave before a trip?
That's definitely a good thing that I would say either check with the recruiter that you're working with or your line manager when you get here. Check with the line manager and they'll go through the whole procedure about how you take time off. I know for myself, I'm trying to remember because it's a while ago since I was a teacher now. I think it was you'd have to give a month in advance, and there was kind of a calendar, and you just put your days in that you were gonna take off. Yeah.
Okay, we also have kind of a general question here. So can you talk about the differences between the Chinese cities where EF teaches English?
Yeah, so sorry, the differences?
The differences in the Chinese cities.
Fantastic. Okay, so obviously it's very different because it is such a big country. So, in the north, you're going to have 4 seasons. Beijing, for example, gets very cold in winter, whereas if you're going to be down south near Shenzhen and Guangzhou, it's going to be subtropical weather. So actually, when I went down there, I was actually quite surprised how tropical it looked. There's some bits really look kind of like Vietnam or, kind of Southeast Asian countries, palm trees and things like that everywhere. Whereas, like I say, in Beijing, it's kind of more traditional China. So there's a lot more traditional buildings. Governmental buildings as well, lots of temples. I mean, you're going to get that everywhere, but as I say, it's just kind of a different feel and vibe. And then somewhere like Shanghai, there's lots of very modern buildings. So, that Pearl Tower that you see kind of looks like a space age kind of building. So they definitely is differences. So definitely travel within China as well. Xi'an, for example, was the last place that I visited, and we're both going to Xi'an in the next couple of weeks. Not Xi'an, Shenzhen,
Okay.
in the next couple of weeks. So we're looking forward to that. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I think that's everything for today. But please feel free to always follow us on Instagram, follow our Facebook and all our social media, and you can always ask us comments and questions there, and we'll be happy to help. Thank you for listening, and we will be back next month with a new webinar, Q&A.